He said we can only afford to fund war. Then released a budget demanding $1.5 trillion for the Pentagon next year alone, paid for by ending utility assistance for families, canceling affordable housing programs, and cutting cancer research, all to fund a huge increase for the military-industrial complex. Because draft-dodging Donald loves sending other people's children to war.
Greetings to you all. Welcome to Red Ninja Network. I'm Mr. Red. I want to get into this. I don't want to keep your time too long, but I will say that I know how you all are feeling, especially you all that have supported this channel. I know you all feel like there's a bunch of news. It's all bad news. There's nothing good to talk about. I talked about to one of my good friends and subscribers of the channel about bringing this news to you. And I don't have a lot of good news usually to talk about, but this is one of those ones that's interesting to me because we only see a few Democrats actually stand up, right? We hear Bernie, we know AOC is out there, we've heard Jasmine Crockett, you'll hear Ro Khanna always speaking, and then it seems like the voices trail off after that, almost as if there's a quietness or a hush across the Democratic Party. And strategically, that actually might make sense. You know, if your opponent is beating themselves up, you let them keep beating themselves up because it's less of a chance that you're going to make a forced error or unforced error if you go ahead and put yourself in the game. Today, I'm going to play a clip from the channel Keith Edwards. This man, John Ossoff, who is running for senator, may be the next Barack Obama. And I'll tell you exactly why here in a minute. We need to grow. I need your support. I need you to subscribe to this channel and hit that like button so we can do it. We do have a lot to talk about, though. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
Did you hear what this man said 2 weeks ago? Quote, "It's not possible," the president said, "for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, or Medicare." He said we can only afford to fund war. Then released a budget demanding $1.5 trillion for the Pentagon next year alone, paid for by ending utility assistance for families, canceling affordable housing programs, and cutting cancer research, all to fund a huge increase for the military-industrial complex. Because draft-dodging Donald loves sending other people's children to war. Just 2 weeks into this war, the White House told us they'd need $200 billion to fund it. Let me just put that in perspective for you. $200 billion would fund a decade, 10 full years of nationwide universal pre-kindergarten. Instead, a war no one voted for and no one can explain.
He's absolutely correct. Now, I typically talk about how the government couldn't afford to fund the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And I believe that would have only cost $60 million, and that would have gotten us a couple of years down the road. Yet, Trump and them said they can't do it. I've already showed you on Bold Perspectives the reason why they can't do it is because Republicans wanted these entitlements to be gone. They wanted to take away the money for healthcare, and they want to be able to use it to give themselves tax cuts. And now, instead of going through the correct appropriations to get the money, Trump is siphoning money here and moving it around. You telling me with all the billions of dollars going around, you don't think that Trump has siphoned off some money here and there? Especially after, Doge went through, got all the access to all our information. All of that stuff is available. But John Ossoff is right. There is no priority by this administration to do anything that helps regular people, only to do things that help Trump. But let's hear a little bit more.
And the daily, the hourly lying to the American public about why we're at war, whether we've won, what's been agreed to, not to mention the insane genocidal threats. Let's review the record. On day 10 of the war,
Bro, he's so good.
the president said, quote, "The war is very complete." That was day 10. Then day 11, going to be finished pretty quickly. Day 12, we won. Day 21, getting very close. Day 32, leaving very soon. Day 40, total and complete victory. Yesterday, day 49, Trump said Iran had opened the strait, except this morning the strait was closed and it looks like Iran hit a cargo ship.
Now, the reason why I said this man is setting up to be the next Barack Obama, because this is a similar trajectory to what Barack Obama went through. If you remember, Barack Obama became a senator, and that's what he ran as. And he was only a senator for a short time before he was up for presidential nomination, in which case we know, right? We know that historic presidential run of Barack Obama. But this man right here has all of the qualities that I could see people wanting in a presidential candidate. You know, he's young. He's not some old fart. He's articulate. He has a cadence about him. He's wholesome and clean looking. Now, I talked to one of my friends about this, and I told that friend, I don't know a lot about John Ossoff. I do like what I hear, but has Trump not taught us anything? If Trump has taught us anything, that we don't need to just hear flowery speeches. We need to look deeper into the character of anybody who's considered running for president. Right now, he's looking to be the senator of, Georgia or whatever state he's at, okay? What I pledge to you is that in the upcoming months, before the midterm elections, and definitely before the presidential elections of 2028, I'm going to go through these candidates. And when one pops up, I'm going to do what I can to give you my opinion on what I think of each of those candidates. And it will be my opinion. But I will also tell you things that I've heard, things that I like, and things that I don't like. And let's walk through it together. Let's walk it down with each of these candidates together, because we need to get this shit right. I understand that some of you all might want reparations. I understand some of you all want people to do shit for black people. But right now, we can't do any of that shit until we have people willing to speak truth to power to clean up the corruption that is infecting this country. Not just the government, this country. We have a lot of infections. And one of the things that I'm going to want to hear is, what do we do about the people who supported this man? Because if they're willing to follow the lies, if they're willing to, tell mistruths, how can we trust anything that they've put their hands on? How willing is this man right here to do investigations to hold the people accountable? Again, this man isn't running for president, but we need to keep an eye on him, because that's the exact same thing. We didn't have a lot of time with Barack to know who he was. I mean, Barack was the Negro that ascended to greatness out of nowhere. Makes you kind of wonder. And that's why we need to be just as careful with this guy. Now, if he is half the president that Barack is, we should be fine, but we don't need just fine. We need people that are going to be fighters and that is going to hold this country and the people who try to bring this country down accountable. That's my bare minimum. Holding people accountable. Listen, there's a long way from the presidential candidates coming out. Again, I don't know much about John Ossoff. If you know anything about him, let me know your thoughts about this man down in the comments below. But I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching for all the reasons that I just listed. But I thought this would be interesting. We need people to speak truth to power. We need as many of them as possible. And unfortunately, they're not going to all be squeaky clean. But we definitely need to make sure that they do not support other countries being the top priority over America. That's one goddamn thing we need to make for sure. We need to make sure that the people we put in office are truly looking out for America and not just their own pockets and not just their friends, and definitely not for the Epstein class elites. Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.